Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seems to take place in
the Sunshine State.
Florida.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, that's episodes 105 and above.
Oh, okay.
That's when we're doing that intro.
I knew I had a memo that we were changing it.
The Sunshine State.
I just got the
We're
wrong
only
episode.
on 102.
Dang, I'm too, buddy.
102.
Okay.
Guys, the other day I called Joshua.
This could be anything.
And he was eating food, but it was too hot. I could tell it was too hot for him to handle. And he was going, why?
Well, yeah.
Why? Call me back when it cools down.
I don't think I said that. I said, give me a minute.
Yeah. And so I go, what did you eat? And at supper time, and he said pizza rolls.
When you're a single man, a single dog dad,
Right.
you go for convenience because
Right.
you got a lot of things to handle in your
true.
life.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. When he said pizza rolls, I literally didn't react. And he goes, oh, don't judge me. And
Because I could hear
Why
it
are
in
you
his
so
voice.
defensive?
Because he goes, oh.
it sounds good.
Oh, no.
And
that,
he wasn't-
that
You've
is
heard it
Judgy
before.
Wayne.
Yeah, that is Judgy Wayne.
He tried to defend
You
it by...
could say, I'm eating a porterhouse.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. Meaning a Greek salad.
It's not a Wagyu.
Light dressing.
Not,
Well, he was using steak sauce on the pizza rolls.
Wait, what?
Well, I like to class it up. I mean,
Is there
it's-
not enough sauce in the pizza rolls already?
You need exterior sauce and interior sauce.
Okay.
And to class up the pizza roll, you take it from bottom shelf to top shelf.
Right.
And then you can close your eyes and you go, I'm eating something
because of the steak
expensive.
sauce.
Yeah.
Right. So the sauce, I guess, will mask it. But the problem was, I said, "What kind of steak sauce?" And he said, like, really miffed.
There's only one type
yeah.
of
He goes,
steak sauce. though.
A1.
A1.
Amen.
This
But
is the
I-
classy steak sauce.
I like Heinz 57.
That's trashy.
That's basically ketchup.
Heinz, bro. Read a book.
Yeah, I get that. But listen, it's spicy ketchup.
Exactly.
And that's what they should call it.
spicy
if they-
ketchup.
if they
spicy
labeled-
orange ketchup.
Heinz 57, the spicier ketchup.
I see what you're
that
saying.
was-
I'd be good with that, but
Yeah.
then they call it steak sauce.
And they charge you 3 times.
and then they put it right next to A1. There's no business with it being.
There's no business
I mean,
with
come
it being
on.
So you guys
A1.
don't have a problem with the flavor. You have a problem with the marketing.
No, the flavor sucks too.
No, it does
It's
not.
spicy ketchup.
Yeah.
We better
It's
move on to
zesty.
headlines.
I think they do say it's zesty, though.
Yes, they do.
I'll say
Heinz
this,
zesty
though.
sauce.
All right. Pizza rolls aside, though, if you want a real
Delicious.
steak,
Here we go.
if the steak is good enough, you're not
Okay.
putting any kind of sauce on it.
This is true.
Okay.
Are we getting paid for this?
We're about to.
Okay.
Let's do it, baby. All right.
Okay, headlines.
Hey.
Actually, before I get to headlines,
Don't-
guys, I've
okay.
been having some car problems.
That's fine.
Okay.
Is that hoopty?
Yeah, I know, right? But both of our cars having some issues.
Ants.
Okay, so we've been kind of in and out of getting them fixed, mechanics. It's a pain.
Right.
Yes.
It's a giant pain, like you just never want to go through.
You're right, buddy.
This Florida man had the same issue. He
Segue.
turned on his car. You like
Okay.
that, right? Turned on his car one morning, got a check engine light.
Okay, I've got
we,
one.
we all do, yeah.
Just keep it on, bro.
No, I can't do that. I can't keep the check engine light on.
You can't?
No, I got to fix it. But anyways, he had a check engine light on, so he takes it to a mechanic.
Let me just say my opinion. Let me cut you off.
Okay,
here.
go ahead.
So if my check engine light's on and my car still drives,
Right.
then I know that light's full of ish.
I assume when it comes on that it's like a glitch.
Yeah.
That nothing's actually wrong with my
Something's
car.
wrong with that light bulb.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hunt
exactly.
down the problem and fix it. But anyways, so he takes this car to the mechanic without even like jumping into it, without
Good
looking
man.
to see
He's
what might be
supporting
the problem.
his community.
Local
Right.
business.
And so he takes it to the mechanic. Mechanic opens it up,
Oh.
and there is a 10-foot Burmese python
Oh my
in
gosh.
the engine well, like wrapped up around the engine.
Still alive?
Yes,
Oh, God bless.
That's why you got to pop your hood before you start the car.
exactly.
I've always said that.
every
There
time.
could be a giant snake in there.
right, but
So
I
you
mean,
pop your hood before to what? Air it out?
Just make sure there's no snake,
right.
You're going to want to check that?
just in case.
So they saw when they opened it up that there was a snake.
Ugh.
Okay,
God
and so
bless.
then the mechanic like called one of his friends over. He's like, "Hey, come look at this. Maybe help me get this thing out."
What?
And then they realize when they're going through this process of trying to figure out
Don't.
how to get the snake out, that it is 10 feet long. They think that it came from like a nearby lake and all this kind of stuff, which if you don't know, we've talked about it a little bit before, but the Burmese pythons are invasive species to Florida.
Amen.
Huge problem, especially down south.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, snakes. God. We don't want you here.
Yeah.
And anyways,
clip. Get out of here, snakes.
That's our new text tone.
And so they ended up getting the snake out. I think Florida Wildlife came over and
they just put it back in the lake.
Yeah, they put it in somebody else's car. So anyways, let's go on to the next one. We have a Florida man that had a lucky day that he didn't realize how lucky he was. So he bought a scratch-off ticket, kind of misplaced it. It sat on his fireplace for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Sounds like he's doing pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one day he has a fireplace. One day he was cleaning, happened to run across it and went ahead and scratched it off. And he won $1 million. Okay. And so just from casually cleaning one day and finding a scratch off ticket.
What type of, delayed gratification does this guy have? He has a loose scratch off ticket.
Right.
Decides I don't have a coin on me. I guess I'll
that's the thing.
Set it on the mantle.
I feel like if I buy a scratch off ticket, which is pretty rare, I'm gonna go right out to my car and scratch it off.
Yeah.
I don't just put it in my pocket and forget about it.
No. I just want to say a little bit ago, Josh said he was cleaning and found a watch, and I thought to myself, man, he's doing pretty good.
Right.
This guy found $1 million when he was cleaning.
Yeah, he's doing much better than me.
I just found a bunch of dust mites.
Brother, those are good. Those are collectibles.
I guess so.
Oh, all right. Next headline.
Okay.
Let's talk about the election.
No, what?
No.
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
This is what we were supposed to avoid.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to get into it a little bit. So, this Florida man, went shopping one day with his daughter. Okay. This happened 3 years ago.
Cool.
He went shopping. They were at the grocery store and they saw some Spam. I guess Spam was like, a regular kind of meal within their family.
They are Hawaiian,
right.
I assume.
And so, Spam was like a kind of one of those things that they ate when the girl was younger. No, I think here in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And so, anyways, she picked it up and she's like, "We should get some Spam." And she looked at the date, and the expiration date was November 2020.
Wow.
And so, for some reason, they made this connection to like, we should eat it on election day, and like election Spam, which it's expiring in November 2020. So it sat in their cabinet for like 3 years. 3 years.
Now I've been getting a lot of election Spam.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God bless.
And I think that was like the funny
That's the joke.
kind of moment. Yeah,
that's the joke.
It's definitely funny.
I want to say something to our southern listeners,
right?
Southern U.S. listeners. Spam is one thing, but there used to be a thing called potted meat. And
which is kind of like similar, right?
I think it's just shredded Spam.
Potted meat?
Yeah, but I had this debate with somebody the other day about what potted meat worse.
Is it unedible in its block gelatin form?
Well, my mama used to give me potted meat when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember eating Spam for the first time and being like, I don't really like it. And she goes, no, that's potted meat, but just cubed up.
I don't think that's anything.
I don't know what potted meat is.
I don't know why that's a word.
Listen, if you're listening to this show.
What's potted about
why phrase it? Do you bury it? Do you try to grow a potted plant?
Google potted meat.
I'm not going to.
And it comes up. It's a little meat treat in a can.
I'm not a pervert.
Meat treat in a can. Okay. So I've actually never had Spam.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever bought it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really had it like that.
Yeah, he's always been up here.
Hey, we should have Cameron try Spam next week on the live stream.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if I try Spam, Josh has to try potted meat.
That's fine.
I hope they're
and
the
I won't
same.
try anything. You guys try your canned
I'm
meat.
going to find
just
something
take
for you to try.
some of my Spam and chop it up, apparently.
Yeah.
Put it in a pot.
Shred it.
All right, so our next headline.
And he's firing through them.
Oh, we've got him going.
Rapid fire.
Yep. Our next headline is about a Florida woman who won $165,000 in Hillsborough.
I'm tired of hearing about people winning money.
Yeah, for real.
Well, okay, I think winning
Next
is
story.
Winning is the wrong word. She stole it from Amazon.
Okay. Well,
so she was arrested on charge of grand theft after she received $165,000 in fake reimbursements from Amazon over 5 years.
This takes a lot of work, it seems.
Right. So she found a loophole in Amazon's shipping policy where basically she found a way for them to think that she had paid to make return packages or like to return packages.
Okay.
Right.
And the loophole was that she would use like prepaid old labels, and somehow Amazon never realized it. So she had like 31 Amazon accounts and would like every day do little fake returns, and she would get reimbursed $3.99 for each one.
This is the con? It's a $4 con?
It's a $4 con.
Mother.
But she did it 42,000 times.
Holy mother.
42,000.
Just invest your time somewhere else.
Over the course of 5 years, that's like worse than minimum wage.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Bless.
Well, I mean, so over 5 years, she made $165,000, which is like $30,000 a year almost.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a full-time job at that point.
I mean,
she's working from home.
Except for the fact that now she's in jail for possibly 15 years.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, now she's working from home.
Yeah. I mean,
true.
just insane, like the sheer amount of these returns that she would even done. I mean, I'm surprised that it took them 5 years to figure it out.
That's one of those things that I know is wrong, but I don't know why it's wrong. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like,
it's stealing. I think
it
you
is,
should
but
know
I couldn't
it's
tell
wrong.
you like because you found a loophole in a giant corporation's like policy,
right?
Well,
some people are going to hear it and be like, "Well, good, Amazon, deserves it." Well,
right,
but that doesn't necessarily make what she did right. But still, I'm just amazed by the sheer amount,
judge, jury, and execution,
fraudulent charges that
all
were
you
made
have
on
to
this.
do to make money.
Tell us.
Here we
buy
go.
A scratch-off ticket.
Right.
Put it above your fireplace.
Your mantle. Put it on
Forget
your
about
mantle.
it.
Pray about it.
Clean your house.
Clean your house.
Find it later.
Find it
$1
later.
million.
$1 million.
Is that it?
Yeah,
that's it. 4 steps.
You heard it here.
Well, I feel good about that.
I feel great.
But I'm going to make you feel better because I got 2 feel-good stories, which
Come
I
on.
don't do very often, but I feel like people might need
What was
it.
the lotto one? Did something happen
made
to
me
him?
feel
Did he get
bad.
dead?
No,
Does
it
he
should make
get
you
more
feel
money than
worse.
me?
Yeah,
that's true.
you're not as rich as that guy.
Right.
So, anyways, we have this Florida man from Tampa, who at one point suffered from a bunch of trauma and PTSD.
Right.
Okay, and he decided to do something about it to help himself, but also to help other people. This is in St. Pete. So he started this happiness experiment. And basically what this guy did, he's 75 years old, Gary King. He's a retired marine mechanic and sand sculptor, which sounds like an awesome thing to retire from.
What a resume.
Yeah,
He's retiring from sand sculpting?
He is retired from sand sculpting.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know that was a career option. My guidance counselor didn't give me that one.
She didn't list that
on
one.
the list.
So anyways, basically what he does with this happiness experiment is he goes around and he nails up signs around St. Pete and Tampa that just say the word happiness. They're like a metal red and white sign, and he'll put them on like street signs and like telephone poles around different intersections and just put the word happiness. And he says that it helps him through his trauma and through PTSD, and it also helps others.
I bet it does. And I'm just going to say,
Sounds good.
I'm going to start driving to St. Pete and read some happiness signs.
That's
instead of going
that's
to
the
therapy.
entire that's the entire experiment,
Right.
But here's the thing, though.
I thought it was going to be a multi-layered.
But I bet it has a lot to do with his reputation. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. He's an older
a 75-year-old retired man that spends his time nailing up these signs around St. Pete and Tampa.
Now, if some random 20-year-old started nailing signs around St. Pete, that's a prison sentence.
That is. Yep.
I mean, it doesn't say that he doesn't have permission, though.
That's true.
I think
that is awesome, though.
I think it's implied or inferred.
Honestly, here's the
think
thing.
so?
It just things are so odd right now in society that it just takes a little bit of human decency to make somebody's day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, that's just so cool that he's
That's
doing
what that is?
Yeah.
Human decency.
All right, so on that note, let me get into the last one. Another happiness one. Florida man is using his creativity.
Love it.
And Hurricane Sally debris.
Love it.
To build a scaled down version of the Pirates of the Caribbean Black Pearl ship.
Could be better.
Jeez. So
That's
basically,
incredible.
this guy, John, took about 10 days to build a 17-foot long ship for a Halloween decoration.
Okay.
Come on.
And so it was used, Hurricane Sally went up through Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, Louisiana, and it, kind of wrecked a bunch of stuff up there.
Right there.
Go ahead.
Hey, John, I'm missing the siding off of my house. I really can't afford to get it re-sided.
Can you bring your trash ship back?
Yeah, I kind of need that whole panel you got 30 feet. That's my house, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Oh man. So basically, what happened is, he used a bunch of fence.
Yep.
A bunch of like
somebody's trampoline.
A bunch of wood fencing. Let's see, a little kid's playhouse.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was a bunch of fencing that had kind of been blown down. And he was saying, obviously I can't build a 100-foot ship, but he wanted to do something, to kind of raise and lift some spirits during Halloween.
Right.
Halloween was a little different this year with, COVID restrictions and, things like that. So he built this 17-foot long black pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. And basically all the kids in the neighborhood got like so hyped about it.
That's so cool.
That a bunch of them dressed up as pirates, like
No
at the
way.
last
Wow.
minute. And so then they all wanted to come and take pictures. And he was saying, everybody's, if you want to come take pictures with the ship, that's fine. I just want to spread some Halloween
Happiness.
cheer.
That's really cool.
Right?
Nice.
Which
That's
is
really
normally
cool.
like a Christmas thing.
Right. You're
Halloween
right,
kind of
yeah.
sneaking in there. So
Sneaking in, taking
anyways,
the cheer.
I know Josh hates all my happy Florida
Yeah.
man stories, but I hope everybody else
I'm
enjoyed
like, keep
them.
them negative.
Right.
Good evening, my children. I'm thrilled to be here with you. These guys. So I'm here this evening to take your questions and provide you with some life advice. I'm going to hand it over to the boys here to give you an idea of what's going to happen.
So Josh has been receiving.
You don't have to do soft voice. I'm soft voice.
You set the tone. You set the tone. No, it's good. Let it run.
Okay.
So Josh has been receiving a lot of questions on social media, just
Yes.
about life in general.
Yep.
Okay. If you follow Josh on Instagram, he
You
posts
see
a lot
me
of
with
funny stuff.
jets and stuff, but
Right.
I'm like praying for them.
Right.
Right.
And so people are responding to these funny posts like, hey, my dog passed away. What should I do? And
Pray
so
for it.
we decided to do a segment, an icebreaker segment where you guys can write in or call and ask just basic life advice to Josh. And Josh is going to give you wisdom.
Right.
He's kind of the guru on the show.
Yep.
And so we put a request out. We got a lot flooded in. We've chosen 6 or 7 written requests and a couple voicemails. So we're just going to read you the question, tell you who it's from, Joshua.
Give me 1 second to center myself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Hi, Josh. I'm always attracted to bad boys. Troublemakers.
Yeah.
The ones who don't come home to mama. How can I change my taste and start pursuing healthier relationships? That's from Kathleen in Parkville, Missouri.
Kathleen, I assume you're watching the wrong stuff. You're watching Sons of Anarchy or
Oh, yeah. Okay.
or Biker Boys with Ty Diggs in 1995.
Right.
You need to avoid those type of shows. Start watching like the 700 Club.
Okay.
Centralize yourself around the actions of a good boy, like white bread. Like think how good plain white bread is,
Right.
and say, I am hungry for that now. I no longer want
Spicy
cinnamon
chicken wings.
roll bread.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the bad bread.
That's the bad boy bread.
Right.
Sourdough, that's the opposite end, bad boy bread. Centralize yourself
Boring,
away from
plain.
extreme flavors.
Right.
No more sour stuff.
Right.
No more spicy stuff. Just centralize neutrality.
So what you're saying is it's all in the diet.
It's on the diet and what you take in,
Okay.
visually and stomachly.
Kathleen,
Stomach.
Kathleen from Missouri, I hope that answers your question. Cameron, do you have one?
It answered a lot of questions that I had
Did it?
myself.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Boring-
finding yourself
think
tempted by
so.
the bad girl?
Josh is often
Yes.
described as boring white bread, so I think that's
That's-
where that came from.
That's where I got it from.
I'm kind of a sourdough myself.
I know. We're
Yeah,
praying
you
about
are.
it.
Okay, so I have another question
Okay, hold on. Let me.
for you, old guru.
Okay, I'm there.
Dear Josh, music is the language of the angels. With that being said, can you suggest a song to ease my troubled soul? From Jonathan in Bradenton, Florida.
Music, I think you're wrong about music here.
What?
I think you're centralizing your life on easing your soul with music.
Okay.
That's not the answer.
Okay.
Scream at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes. And now tell me if you want to listen to music. I promise you. You do it one time, you'll be hooked.
That's your answer for him?
Did you hear me answer?
Okay.
That's my answer.
I'm sorry.
Who's the guru here?
You're right.
Do I need to raise my voice? I don't think I
Please
do.
don't. Our next question is actually going to be from a guy that called in to our voicemail. He wanted to ask you the question himself. Okay, so we're going to listen
I'll
to
take
that.
it.
Yes, this message is for Josh. Josh, I've been trying to boost my self-confidence lately. I was wondering, do you have any words of affirmation I can say when giving myself a self-talk in the mirror?
Yeah, absolutely I do. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a piece of dirt. I'm a piece of garbage.
He asked for words of affirmation.
Yeah, well, the worst thing you can be is a cocky, big-headed boy out there walking the streets.
I see.
You're lower. You're lower than grass right now.
Right. Humble yourself.
Humble yourself. Walk around, and if you have that mentality, other people will lift you up.
Right.
Wow.
He's so wise.
I've got a question that was written in here. It says, my little brother plays guitar. He sings in a band. He's a pastor. And all around, he's the favorite child. How can I bring him down a notch and get my parents to love me more? That was sent in by Kaya in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Kaya, you need to remove one of these talents from this guy. Because actually growing your own talent to match him, it's not going to work. Because your parents are already invested in how good this guy is.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
Bring this guy down a few notches. So if it takes spreading rumors at the church, do it. Who cares? If it takes breaking his guitar, do it. Who cares? Right? You need to just take this guy down. Is he your brother? Is he your real brother? It doesn't matter. Take him down.
Wow. Kaya.
I feel good about that one.
Bless
one's-
you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's great advice.
I
It
think they
is.
were all great advice.
I think Kaya's happy with that.
Next one is Josh, how can I use my platform to encourage those around me and be a voice to the voiceless? This is from Justin in Los Angeles, California.
Justin, I don't know what you're talking about here. This is probably the dumbest question I've ever heard. The voice of the voiceless. Learn sign language. Bro, I don't know. God bless.
Next.
This says, Joshua, you know how most kids have posters of superheroes and movie stars on their walls? I don't. My walls don't have anything hanging up at all. When people come over, they make fun of my plain bare walls. How can I decorate on a budget? That's from Caleb in New Mexico.
Oh, a little bit more practical.
Yeah, Caleb, I think you're right here. You shouldn't be lusting after supernatural abilities like these other perverts. So what you need to do is stop inviting kids over to your house, go over to their house and say, oh, you're a Invisible Man pervert? Yeah, that's a perverted thing. Nobody likes that. Or a Superman pervert. Just call them perverts. Really, a pervert will knock them down the notches.
Until the point gets across.
You got it.
That's some wisdom.
Okay, next we have Josh. I drive a big truck, and I'm an all-around macho man.
No doubt.
But secretly, I enjoy sappy music and romantic movies. How do I reconcile these two parts of my personality? From Chris in Lakeland, Florida.
Wow. This is tough. How about stop driving a big dumb truck?
Yeah.
You dumb idiot. What's it really needed for? I mean, God bless. It was good during the hurricanes. I mean, that guy really saved us.
That is true.
Yeah, when we needed that tree pulled off our house.
Right.
But other than that,
So you're saying use the truck for functionality, not for decoration driving.
how about this?
Okay. I see the wisdom in his eyes.
Paint it yellow or pink.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll know which truck is yours when you go out in the parking lot.
That's a good point.
And you'll stay on that sensitive side. Like, I'm comfortable with my sensitivity. I'm so comfortable that I'll broadcast it to the world.
That's good.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
good because you're broadcasting something else with a giant big truck.
Yes, you are.
All right, so we've got one more that came in via voicemail that we chose. This is a friend of ours. Her name is Deborah from the Spark My Interest podcast. Josh has been a guest on their show.
I've given her a lot of advice over the Instagram.
Okay, great. So she's calling in. She's got a message for you. Let's see what she has to say.
Okay.
Hey guys, it is Deborah from the Spark My Interest podcast. Here is what is going on in my life. I have this neighbor who happens to be a DJ by trade, which is great. I love it. And sometimes he plays really fun stuff, and it's great. So on a Friday or a Saturday night, I'm cool with it. I don't mind that he's practicing his beats in his backyard. But the random kind of, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, anything really after 10 p.m. that's not a Friday or a Saturday and going until 3 a.m., I'm not cool with. It's loud, and it actually kind of rocks my house sometimes, the beats do. And I'm right next door, so I don't know if it's just that I'm quarantined and being home all the time and I'm able to listen to this all the time. My tolerance level for it all has kind of reached a boiling point. And so my question to you, Josh, is should I be that neighbor that next time when it's a random Tuesday and it's 2 a.m. and he's been at this for 4 hours and my house is rocking, do I call the police? That's kind of where I'm at. I just don't know if I can be the neighbor, but whatever advice you can give me, I would greatly appreciate it. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
Wow.
This one's tough.
Right.
Because you could have worse neighbors.
Yeah.
But probably not. This guy... this guy, what you need to do, get like 10, 20 good friends.
Okay.
Every time this guy starts playing, y'all go over there and just start acting like it's a party. And just shame him, just embarrass him and be like, oh, I thought you were playing loud music because this was a party.
Right.
Oh, it's just you?
You have no friends.
You have no friends?
You're not invited.
Spin it on
Look
them.
you spin it on him. You shame him, and then you go on Yelp, Craigslist, and you just trash his reviews also. Because soon he'll have to sell that DJ equipment to keep his house.
Right.
So one thing may happen. He'll either sell his DJ equipment for cheap. That's when you buy it.
Right.
And you start practicing. Face those speakers against his wall.
Yeah.
And then it could be like this competing thing. Maybe he brings 10 friends over. Maybe you end up married. Who knows? I don't know.
And
So
at that
Josh
point,
is
you've won.
saying to Deborah from the Spark My Interest podcast
Yes.
that you should conduct a war with your neighbor and become a competitive DJ.
Right.
What happens is police show up. He turns the volume down. But if you start a DJ war with him,
Right.
you know what? Actually quit your job. Buy your own DJ equipment.
Start now.
Start now. Yeah, now's the best time. And
That's
just
true.
blast him 24/7.
Okay, well, Josh, do you have any parting wisdom for our listeners? This has been such a great, enlightened segment.
Don't be a superhero pervert.
Okay.
Obviously, nobody likes a superhero pervert.
Right.
And then those other things of advice I said, listen to those.
All of them.
All of them.
I miss your sweet voice from the beginning.
Hey.
Charlie Smith was born in 1842 in Liberia.
Oh,
That's you.
1842.
You take the math on this one.
180.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, guys.
All right.
For this
179.
Okay.
for this next hundo, maybe we don't do the math thing.
Okay.
We've never gotten it right.
I know.
We've never got it right.
This guy stopped me 3 times.
Well, I tell you what.
179.
I'll get it this time.
We'll stop next episode because it might be important this time around.
Okay, true.
Charlie Smith was born 1842 in Liberia. His time spent in Africa was fairly normal for a kid his age. He enjoyed hunting and fishing with his brothers.
Cool.
And he actually got really good with rifles.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So some Europeans had left behind some old rifles,
fun.
while they were on expedition in Africa.
Yep.
And they thought the guns were old and broken. Well, Charlie Smith and his friends, when they were children, they discovered the rifles in the sand outside their village, and they repaired them and started playing with them.
Okay. Okay. So we have some slightly used guns that,
Yes.
they didn't think were worth it anymore. So they just lay them in the sand
In the
outside
dirt.
of town
Yeah.
for the children to find.
And the children found them,
That's the
repaired
best-
them,
that's the
Right.
and got
Wow.
really good at them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a device they had not seen and they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
They're like, something's wrong with this. It's
I
supposed
bet we
to-
can figure it out. But no, basically, Charlie and his friends, they're basically getting really good at these rifles. They're shooting with them, and because of this, at the age of 10, Charlie kind of becomes a marksman. It's
Jeez.
kind of like what he's
Awesome.
known for.
What age were you a marksman?
8,
Okay.
One upper.
Yes, he
Always
is.
the one upper.
according to the squirrels in my neighborhood.
Got him.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, basically, something terrible happens at around this point in Charlie's life. 3 British men showed up to his village and tells them all that they have jobs lined up for all the boys in town.
Nice.
And so Charlie, like most of the boys, they signed up because they were looking for adventure and a little
Naturally.
money. But unbeknownst to them or anyone else in town, these men were actually kidnapping them and selling them into slavery.
Jeez.
Well, that's not a good gig. It's not a good gig.
No,
You have a job.
right.
That was the opening
That
line.
was the
for
selling point. Give
Right.
us your men, and so basically a month later, Charlie arrives via boat in New Orleans.
Oof.
Jeez.
Okay, he's 12 years old. This is
Oh,
where he's at
geez.
now. Now, back in this time, major port cities in America, they served as auction points for enslaved Americans. So wealthy landowners from all over the world would show up to these auctions, and then the goal was to leave with people in tow. That's what they did.
Jesus, this is the worst.
I know, but this is part of the history.
I
But
get it.
according to Charlie, he was very fortunate because while he was there, a Texas landowner showed up,
Yep.
paid Charlie's fees,
Uh-huh.
and when he and Charlie got outside of New Orleans, he basically pulls him aside and tells him, "Look, at this point, you're a free man. You can go if you want to."
What?
What the? So
Yeah.
he struck the slave lottery.
He did.
I'd
He
say.
100% did. And so the Texans said, if you want, you can go right now, wherever you please, or you can come home with me, grow up with my kids, and I'll help you build a life here.
Yeah. Be my
Wow.
slave. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the option that Charlie Smith chose. It was actually safer because, if you
Yeah,
went
'cause
anywhere
you
else.
walk 10
don't know
feet away
anybody else.
and someone goes, hey, you're my slave now.
Exactly, right. Dangerous times. So they traveled back to Texas or over to Texas. And for the next 8 years, Charlie spent his days with the ranchers, living as one of their own. Charlie learned how to start a farm, how to herd
Okay.
cattle,
Nice.
how to make clothing, and basically build anything you would need to survive on the American frontier.
I mean, he's almost adopted in a way.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Not legally, but basically
Spoiler
what
alert.
happened. Yeah. So when Charlie turned 18,
Mhm.
he tells the man who basically had become like a father to him that he was ready to hit the open road and
Oof,
explore the United States of America.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln had already signed the Emancipation Proclamation at this point. So Charlie Smith, he just wanted to kind of go see the country.
And we know
Right.
how that changed everything.
Sure, right. So he basically takes off, and it takes him about a week to meet a really interesting character.
Okay.
He was in New Mexico spending some time.
Okay.
Charlie meets a guy that everyone called Jack the Buckshot Rogers.
That's a strong name.
That's a strong
Strong
It's a
name.
good middle name.
Yes.
Right.
The
The
Buckshot.
Buckshot.
Right. Jack Rogers is a pretty strong name in
that's
itself.
okay.
though.
The
That's
Buckshot was
okay.
his given birth name.
Wow.
Jeez.
I'm just kidding. But at this point, Jack the Buckshot was an outlaw gunslinger
Okay.
known all over this area. He's kind of a local legend, you can
Yeah.
say. He was considered to be a sharpshooter, which oddly enough, so was Charlie Smith, because he had learned as a child in Liberia, but he had kept that skill up while living on the ranch in Texas.
Right.
Obviously.
Squirrels.
I bet the Texas rancher was surprised to see him
To
shoot.
see how well he handled a rifle.
Yeah.
What is, let me try. Pew, pew, pew.
So Charlie's in New Mexico. He meets this kind of outlaw legend and finds out he's a sharpshooter. And Charlie goes, "We should have a competition."
Okay.
He was a confident kid.
Yeah.
He was
That's
like,
what
let's-
one sharpshooter says to another.
Yeah, let's have a competition.
Yeah.
He's like, hand me the gun.
Right.
That's a piece of wood.
So they're in the middle of town, and Jack the Buckshot, not to be outdone, he accepts the challenge.
He has to. I
He
think
has to.
It's
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, and Charlie outshoots him by a mile.
Jeez.
Like
Jesus.
just destroys the guy.
So it was the longest bullet
That
competition?
is a long shot.
Well,
Who could
yeah,
shoot
I
the
mean, like
farthest?
it was distance, it was accuracy. But no, it was. He basically.
Bro, I think yours went like a mile past mine.
He's like, mine was only 37 feet. How'd you do that?
Bullets those days.
So basically, Jack the Buckshot was so impressed that he offers Charlie a chance to ride with his gang across the Wild
Nice.
West.
That's always nice.
I think he has to. You want to buy the competition.
Yeah,
You
I don't want to
them
compete against
be
this guy.
Bingo.
Come join my team.
Right.
The problem was Charlie Smith was a good guy. He actually said this. It's a quote. I don't want to rob anyone.
Oh, because this guy was an outlaw.
He was an outlaw.
slinger.
Yeah.
I missed that.
So Charlie says, I don't want to rob anyone or shoot anybody who doesn't deserve to be shot. And
That's
so,
such a
also
nice
my
guy.
mantra.
I know. Josh has always said that. So he explains this to Jack, who's like, okay, I tell you what, you don't want to come ride with me and my boys? Let me tell you about some
Give me
opportunities.
everything you got.
You're right. This is a stick up. This is the long con. That competition was a joke. He basically explains to Charlie about some opportunities that he himself wasn't interested in.
Okay.
And so he says to Charlie, look, if you're interested, there are some bad people that I may or may not know that have a bounty on their head. I can tell you
Jackpot.
who they
Okay.
are, where they are.
Right.
You can bring them in, make
Yeah.
yourself some money.
These people deserve to get shot.
Right. So
Nice.
Charlie was intrigued by this and thus began his decade-long career as a bounty hunter.
Wow.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And so he traveled all over the American South collecting bounties and earning a really good living. But here's the thing about Charlie Smith. He brought every single one of his bounties in alive.
Okay.
He was really
He was got class.
he was really adamant about this whole not shooting people.
The time of the classy bounty hunter is really gone.
And
Yeah,
it was a
country.
small window.
It
Right.
was
It
very
really
small.
was, if we're being honest.
10, 15 years, probably.
10, 15 minutes.
Amen,
The
buddy.
story's very short. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so the thing about Charlie is he's a nice guy. So out of like 100%, he brings them all in alive. So that phrase, like wanted, dead or alive.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'll just bring him in.
So it's
Which
really
is difficult because outlaws don't want to come in.
No,
Right.
they're very rambunctious. Like
Right.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. He would
Yes.
sit with you, offer you a cig,
He's
tell you
nice
about
guy.
Jesus.
That's kind of how Charlie Smith was. That's how I imagine him.
Yeah, he's the
Anyways.
first Dog the Bounty Hunter.
So Charlie, yeah, exactly. So Charlie, he continued to travel, and he even went back through the slave auction town of New Orleans.
Shot that place up.
No, he briefly considered settling down there as like a full circle type thing. Like, hey, I came from here.
Yeah.
I've made some money and success. I want to come back here and settle down.
Wow.
But while he's in New Orleans, he hears some people talk about this paradise to the southeast.
God bless. Talk about a lie.
And they're like, look, there's this open land. We should go down there.
Don't do
Beautiful
it.
down there.
Don't do it.
Lawless. There's
It's lawless.
There's no one down there. Basically, Charlie hears about Florida, and he sets off on this journey to the Sunshine State.
Nice.
Okay. It was all the convincing he needs. He bought land in Central Florida. He built a home in Central Florida in a very small town. And there he met his wife, started a very successful farm, and he officially retired as a bounty hunter.
Jeez.
Wow.
Okay. So he made money on the side as a handyman fixing things for people all over town. He was
Building-
the guy you would go to.
Building
He's
a
almost
black,
too nice.
a black pearl.
Right,
for the
yeah.
kids for
Building a ship
Halloween.
for people out of
Got any
hurricane
fences
debris.
that fell down over here?
Hanging up happiness signs
Right.
around town.
Perfect.
So basically, everything was peaceful and slow for him for the next 20 years.
Okay.
Okay.
jeez.
He had children. He worked his farm. He helped out where he could. And just generally, he was living a slow and peaceful life. But one morning, while he was out tending his crops, 5 men showed up on his property riding on horseback.
Okay. Bing, bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, bing.
Shooting
Okay.
into the sky.
He's been living peacefully for 20 years. At
You
this
think
point.
he's after 20 years? Do you stay locked and loaded? Cam?
Oh, yeah.
You're always locked. and loaded.
Always.
Let's give it a paragraph and see what happens.
Oh, no.
So these 5 men show up on horseback, and they basically go, look, hey, we're here because we need some help. We
okay.
travel to come find you. There's an outlaw that's made his way into
Oh
Florida.
wow. Okay.
He's robbing and killing people, and we don't dare challenge him. But the rumor has it there's a retired bounty hunter living here in Central Florida. Charlie Smith, we know it's you.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Can you come help us? So Charlie goes.
Pull out your gun.
Charlie
Outlaw's
goes,
name Bone Mazel.
Right. I wish. Charlie goes, no.
Whoa.
I'm chill. Like
Yeah.
I have wife, I have kids, I have a better life. So
I've seen this movie.
The sheriff,
Ugh, I'm scared.
the sheriff basically plays a guilt trip on him and says, "Yeah, you have a wife and kid. So do all these people that he's murdering."
Yeah.
Oh, there
Oh,
it is.
wow.
That's
Like
a
you,
good
can,
line.
like you can stop this. Only you can stop it, basically.
Nice.
So they persist. Charlie goes, you know what? I'll come with you. I'll stop this murderous outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
And so he packed his things, kissed his family goodbye, and he left to collect one last bounty. Say that with me. One last bounty.
I'm sorry. I just see every
bounty.
discussion ending in, "Oh, you don't want to? You're going to."
Yeah, I know.
And everybody resorts to guns.
I know. It's how the Wild West was. When he arrived in a town called Apopka, which is
close.
just north of where he was, there was a familiar face waiting for him. His old buddy, Jack the Buckshot Rogers.
That's who he was after?
That's when he put two and two together.
This
The
is
outlaw
this
that
is
he was sent to
insane.
capture
This is insane.
was a man that he had met and befriended nearly 30 years prior to
Wow.
that. So back then, Charlie was the better shot, but for the last few decades, he's been out of practice. He's a farmer now.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
still believe in him.
Just
you
farming.
don't harvest corn with a gun.
You
from what
can't.
I've read,
You can't do that.
you can't do that.
So Jack,
He can't.
the buckshot, he's not out of practice.
Yeah.
He's an outlaw.
Well, he's been killing people.
He shoots somebody every day.
Yeah.
He's full of practice.
A body is a good target.
That's why the cops are after
Yeah.
him. Yeah, a meat target.
A meat target.
A
Amen.
moving meat target.
Gross.
With clothes.
Okay, enough.
Okay, sorry. So Charlie basically, he said that meeting Jack in the streets of Apopka was the single most stressful moment of his life.
Wow.
He didn't know how exactly he felt about it all. He just knew one thing for certain. If he ever wanted to go home and see his wife and kids again, he knew that it was kill or be killed. That he wasn't going to be able to bring Jack in the way
Nothing
they called
helps your
in.
nervousness and your stress like a kill or be killed situation.
Exactly.
With your old friend.
With your old friend. I know. So basically, this was going to be, kind of live or die situation. And so the two men decide they're finally going to square off for old time's sake.
God
Except
bless.
this competition, the prize is life.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And not
They're
just,
like 40 feet away, and he's like, "I've seen you shoot a mile."
exactly. I'll wait over in the next town. And so basically, they stand back to back. They take their 20 paces.
Yikes.
When they turn around, 3 shots are fired.
Oof.
One passed over the shoulder of Charlie Smith.
Okay.
The other 2 hit Jack the Buckshot center in his chest.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
So Charlie was hailed as a hero, and once again, he went back home in an attempt to live a quiet and peaceful life. Part 2, and this time he succeeded.
Nice.
But
so,
he's
so Buckshot is gone.
Buckshot's dead.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if they
repaired him.
repaired him.
And I don't think there was a salvation moment at the end.
No.
No.
Can I say how
didn't
I
have
would
a
do
spray.
this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've always pictured myself in a Wild Wild West gun down.
Yeah, sure.
And so do the 20 paces, right?
Right.
Right.
But during those 20 years, I've gotten really good at just bending over and shooting between my legs.
Yeah.
Because worst case, I take one in the tuft, right?
Right.
And
It's thick.
it's
It
it's
is
a thick
thick.
boy
That's
tuft.
a hide.
But best case, I go between the legs, pop a couple off.
While you're still walking?
No, I play it fair. I get the 20 paces, but nobody expects someone's just to bend over.
And
no,
the last thing they see is you bending over and
gun
then a
going
bullet.
between my legs, facing them,
Right.
and me just popping a couple rounds off.
Well, that's not how Charlie did it. Charlie shot
Okay.
him fair and square in the chest. He goes home.
I could hit the chest, bro.
I know you
Probably
could.
hit your own butt.
And so he goes home and he succeeds in living a peaceful, quiet life.
Cool.
And that was kind of why everybody knows who Charlie is, not because of the bounty hunter, but because when he lived a peaceful, quiet life,
Yep.
he literally just kept on living. And he couldn't
what?
stop living.
What?
And he lived so much that when everybody he knew around him was basically dying of old age, Charlie continued to live.
These are weird sentences.
What's happening?
Let's see what happens when
He's
he
still
was
living.
He's
when
an
he
angel.
was 108 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
He gained the attention of officials in Florida who basically was like, "We think you might be the oldest person in the United States."
What?
So they approached this guy in Central
He's
Florida.
like, you want me to kill who?
Right, exactly. His son at the
There's
time.
an outlaw? Okay, no. We're sorry for bothering
Yeah,
you.
his youngest son at the time was 77.
What?
Wow.
And so these Florida officials approach him, say, "Hey, we think you might be. We heard about you. We think you might be the oldest person around."
Okay.
Basically, he begins touring the state and doing interviews for news outlets. And in 1972, he was invited by the governor of
What?
Florida to attend the Kennedy Space Center and watch
What?
the launch of the
Wait,
Apollo 17
what?
moon landing.
Say the year again.
I'm going to do the math for you. This guy was born in
Jeez.
1842. This happened in the 1970s. So theoretically,
Oh,
no
he would have been
way.
130 plus years old.
What?
Hold on.
So my what?
Okay. If you give me a second, I'll explain it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
So
lost.
at one point in time, after all this happens, the Guinness Book of Records, they listed Charlie Smith as the oldest man to ever live in the United States at 137 years old.
I don't get it.
137?
Okay, here's the thing.
I can't even imagine that.
It only stayed in there for a decade because it was contested.
Oh, okay.
Because Charlie didn't own a birth certificate. Because he came from slavery. Enslaved Americans did not have birth certificates. They weren't given any documents. Someone contested it, and Guinness removed it from the book. So Charlie passed away peacefully in the hospital in Bartow, Florida. At the estimated age of 137 years old. But here's a fun fact that I've saved for our boys here in the studio tonight. Is there is a plaque dedicated in Charlie's hometown entitled "The Man Who Just Kept Living" in his hometown of Auburndale, Florida, which is exactly where our studio is located.
No way.
Oh,
the man who kept living. Where is this plaque?
The man who kept living in Auburndale, Florida. Just said that. So
no, but where?
Jesus, physically,
I want to see it.
It was sent in so many times, and so we had some of our team kind of verify this. But whether or not he was the oldest man, it doesn't negate the fact this guy lived an amazing life.
Oh yeah,
he was born in 1842 and watched a rocket go to the moon.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's crazy. And this is why it's the perfect story to stop doing addition on the birth dates in the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's the only time it's mattered.
With
that
Pinnacle.
is true.
Huh.
So
what I don't get is they find the oldest man they think in the United States.
Right.
And they go, would you travel and do interviews with news places? Why don't they travel to me? Well, I'm the oldest guy.
That's kind of the thing I'm wondering about, is because I feel like it sounds like officials being like, oh, this is a novelty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Schmucker's got a hold of him.
And
probably.
then you have
Schmucker's
this 100-plus-year-old man who, by the way, when Guinness contested his 137, they did basically say, look, worst case, he's still like 110. So it wasn't like this guy was like lying about his age.
Yeah,
and he lived through slavery. How about you give him a few years?
Yeah, he couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is he had no documentation. So Guinness, it was contested, they pulled it out. But with that being said, this guy lived an amazing life. And just to be fair, there are stories about him that I didn't have time to include.
Wow.
He did a lot of, he was 130 years old.
Okay, can you imagine, let's say your wife lived for super old to like
80.
to like, okay,
85.
let's even say 97.
Okay.
You lived 40 years past that.
lifetime.
When your baby son is almost 80 years old.
Good
When you're
Lord.
asking if you can go in your son's will.
That's
Hey,
true.
will you write me in your will? I'll probably outlive
Here's
you.
what's crazy is after
Jeez.
accomplishing all these things and coming back home and just kind of settling down, it kind of sounds like he was a young guy doing these things.
Right.
He would have been like 60 or 70.
Wow.
Insane.
He was technically an older guy
Yeah.
out gunslinging, man.
Love
like
it.
Yeah, cool guy, Charlie Smith, Florida man. If anybody deserves a Florida man badge, I don't like pretty often we give them out. Like we've had some amazing people on the show, Vanilla Ice, freaking Sasquatch.
That's
If
true.
anybody deserves a
Some
badge
good
of Florida
names.
man, it's Charlie Smith.
I agree.
No,
This guy's
I
insane.
think Charlie Smith's up there at the top.
Yeah, he's up there at the top.
Yeah. The
102.
atomic bomb guy.
The guy that invented the atomic bomb.
Bone Mizell just got kicked out.
Oh, yeah. He's at
Like
top 5 for
like
sure.
the Cowboys.
Bone
for
Mizell
me.
isn't going to put up with that.
No,
Bone
He's not gonna
Mizell
like
does
this.
everything with flair.
that's true.
Guys,
A whip.
102, we did it.
102.
Episode
We did
it.
102.
Seal the deal.
Josh became a guru before coming in the studio tonight.
You're welcome.
Shared some wisdom. Cameron shared some headlines that were moving.
Amazing headlines.
Happiness.
Some of the best.
Some of the best.
Stealing people's homes to build a boat. Charlie Smith. Hey, if you like our stuff, check us out on social media. Instagram and Twitter is from Moffin Podcast, FMOFM Podcast. If you want some bonus stuff, a bonus episode,
Artwork?
live stream, artwork, show notes, behind the scenes, patreon.com/FMOFM.
You know who you are, baby.
Podcast.
You
Our
know
live
who you
streamers are
are.
watching
Love
right
you.
now. God bless you. We're pointing at you.
We're pointing at you.
Blowing kisses at you.
Blow a kiss, Cameron.
Mwah.
Okay.
We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
See ya.